The woman was the mountain deity of this forest. She did not age, nor could she die, yet she fell in love with a human man, but after only living together for 80 short years. The man grew old and passed away, heartbroken beyond measure. The mountain goddess retreated deep into the mountains with his hairpin, the only keepsake he left behind. But unexpectedly, the only keepsake was lost. The goddess searched for a long time, but she could not find it. Her 4 attendants, upon hearing this, joined together to help her search. But as countless years passed, 3 of the attendants exhausted their spiritual power and perished. Even then, the keepsake was still nowhere to be found. Before they died, they placed masks carved with their own faces inside the shrine, hoping that in this way, they could continue to watch over their goddess. No one knew how much time had passed. Natsume, who possessed spiritual sight, passed by here with his classmates. They were all intrigued by the mask's unusual designs. Natsume heard that his classmates could only see 3 masks. He immediately sensed something was wrong, because he clearly saw 4 masks. He believed one of the masks must have been a spirit in disguise. Natsume became alert right away. He then asked a local classmate and learned that this shrine enshrined spirits who guarded the mountain deity. Only then did Natsume relax. On the first night at their summer camp, heavy rain fell. The next day, Natsume saw in the swollen river the eerie figure of a woman appear. She submerged her face in the water, riding a small boat that drifted slowly downstream. Her long hair trailed like water weeds, twisting beneath the surface. Natsume felt certain she was a frightening spirit. He immediately pretended not to see her, then hurried back to the classroom. Yet curiosity about the woman lingered in his mind. And just then, Natsume was shocked to notice the masked spirit was now covering his teacher's face, but it did not control the teacher's body. Natsume didn't know what the masked spirit was trying to do. He could only continue to observe quietly. As Natsume walked down the hallway, he suddenly heard the sound of flowing water. River water began to flow into the hallway. Natsume thought it was just rain leaking in. He intended to report it to the teacher, but Tanuma beside him could not see the water at all. Only then did Natsume realize that this water must be connected to a spirit. Natsume wanted to leave immediately, but just as he turned, he bumped into a classmate who was now possessed by the masked spirit. The masked spirit's constant appearances made Natsume uneasy, though it did not seem harmful. It kept moving from person to person. No one knew what it wanted. As Natsume was deep in thought, the masked spirit suddenly attached itself to Satoru beside him. Natsume was startled. He could no longer hesitate. He grabbed Tanuma by the shoulders and shook him urgently, demanding the spirit leave immediately. Everyone nearby was shocked by Natsume's sudden outburst, but Natsume had no time to explain. He ran after the direction where the masked spirit had fled. Yet no matter how many places he searched, he couldn't find it. Just then, Satoru found him. Natsume didn't know how to explain his odd behavior. He could only apologize repeatedly, but Satoru didn't mind at all. He didn't understand what Natsume had been doing, but he knew that Natsume was worried for him. That night, Natsume fell asleep burdened with questions. Half awake and half dreaming, he saw a mask appear before him. The mask kept murmuring, saying it needed to help the mountain deity find something precious. Only then did Natsume realize that the masked spirit attaching to the teacher and to the students was simply trying to search for that item. Though Natsume did not know what the item was, he decided to help search for it, so he immediately began searching everywhere for anything unusual. At last, while carefully looking through branches and leaves, a glimmering hairpin by the roots of a tree caught his eye. Its design was simple and old-fashioned. This had to be the hairpin the goddess lost. The mysterious woman in the river earlier was likely the mountain goddess searching for this. Just moments after Natsume picked up the hairpin, the mountain goddess hurried to him. Natsume told her that her attendants helped him find it. The goddess accepted the hairpin as though reclaiming a treasure. It was the last thing her lost love had left her. She never expected that even after time had passed, and the mountains and rivers had changed, her attendants still loyally guarded the mountain in her stead, and continued searching for the hairpin she lost. The goddess turned into a streak of light and vanished into the mountains. The remaining attendant by the shrine thanked Natsume as well. In the years to come, he would use all the strength he had left to continue watching over the goddess. Natsume only hoped that this loyal attendant could live on for a long time, so that the goddess would not be too lonely. No one knew whether the goddess, holding the hairpin, remembered those days spent together with the man she loved, nor did anyone know how long the attendant's mask could remain watching inside the shrine. But one thing was certain, the hairpin that Natsume helped return to her gave this story that spanned across ages the gentlest ending. Perhaps when a spirit falls in love with a human, the tragedy is destined from the very beginning, yet some beings, even knowing it will end in sorrow, still choose to fly straight into the flame. This spirit who fell in love with a human was named Yubiko. His only ability was to mimic any sound. The first time he saw the girl who stirred his heart, Yoko, was on a quiet mountain path. Yubiko could not understand why Yoko came to this remote mountain path every day. Driven by curiosity, Yubiko followed her. Yoko walked all the way to a shrine at the mountain's peak, and standing before the shrine was a boy named Takahiko, wearing a bright, gentle smile as he waited. When Yoko saw him, her face bloomed with happiness. Only then did Yubiko realize Yoko came to meet the one she loved. From that day on, Yubiko was like someone possessed. Every day, he found himself drawn to the mountaintop, quietly watching them from afar. Takahiko always seemed busy. He was the one who left first each time. Yoko would stand there, unmoving, watching his figure fade into the distance, unwilling to leave, until the sun finally set behind the mountains. He was afraid wild animals might harm Yoko, so each day before she walked back down the mountain, Yubiko would drive the animals away, then hide in the shadows, watching her leave safely. As a spirit, Yubiko never intended anything beyond this. He only wanted to silently watch over Yoko from a distance. But at some point, Takahiko stopped coming, and Yoko waited alone. Yubiko wanted to understand why, so he went down the mountain and approached Takahiko's home. But the house was decorated for celebration. From the conversations of the guests, Yubiko learned the truth. Takahiko was the eldest son of a prestigious family. Because of family expectations, he was forced to marry another girl. Watching the scene unfold before him, Yubiko felt only endless sorrow. If a spirit and a human are fated to never be together, then why couldn't two humans who loved each other remain together? Unaware of the truth, Yoko continued waiting on the mountain. From spring to autumn, she returned every day at the same time. She sat in front of the shrine, calling Takahiko's name again and again, as if calling long enough might bring him back to her. Until one day, Yubiko could no longer hold back his feelings. He responded to her using Takahiko's voice. He lied and told her he was sick and could not meet her for the time being, and Yoko believed him completely. She believed the voice behind the door was the man she loved. Yubiko intended to say goodbye this way, to help her let go, but Yoko's voice was so gentle, her laughter so warm, that Yubiko could not bring himself to say goodbye. They promised to meet again the next day, and the next day came, and then the next. Days repeated themselves, and their meetings were always separated by the closed door. But over time, Yoko began to sense something was wrong, for while Yubiko could perfectly imitate Takahiko's voice, he could not imitate his heart. Yet Yubiko's love for Yoko was deeper than Takahiko's had ever been. Yoko did not expose him. Instead, she continued speaking to him about the little things in her life, just as before. But when winter arrived, Yoko finally asked to see the person behind the door, and Yubiko could no longer bear it. He did not want to deceive her anymore, so he told her the truth about Takahiko. Yubiko knew that his deception was unforgivable. He did not have the courage to see Yoko's face. He feared seeing disappointment in her eyes. So from that day forward, Yubiko disappeared. He wandered for a long time. Only much later did he return to the shrine. There, he found a letter, held down by stones as if meant to be seen. He feared it was left by Yoko, but feared even more that it wasn't. After a long struggle, Yubiko finally chose to open it. Whatever Yoko wrote, whether hatred or heartbreak, he believed he deserved it. But the letter had been there so long, its paper had decayed. He could not read a single word. So Yubiko thought of a spirit called Kashigami. Kashigami had the power to restore any paper to its original state. But Yubiko could not find him, so he sought help from Natsume, who could see spirits. Kind-hearted Natsume, upon hearing his story, immediately agreed to help him search. After much effort, they finally found Kashigami. With his power, the letter was restored perfectly. Kashigami then told them the letter had been written by a young woman, but the faint traces left upon the paper told him that the girl was no longer in this world. Only then did Yubiko realize how brief human lives truly were. Yubiko decided to read the letter. Whatever it contained, he would accept it. But since he could not read human writing, he asked Natsume to read it for him. As Natsume held the letter, he gently spoke the words aloud. "Thank you for telling me the truth. This was a mysterious spirit that had taken on a human form. Her name was Murasaki. Because her true body had broken, she had grown extremely weak, but she felt that instead of waiting here for death, she might as well eat a human to regain her strength. Very soon, a boy actually walked up to her and greeted her first. Unfortunately, Murasaki was so weak that she didn't even have the strength to eat a person anymore, so she told the boy to come back in 3 days. But what Murasaki didn't expect was that after 3 days passed, the boy really did come back. He looked excited and kept trying to start conversations with her, and because of that, Murasaki forgot to eat him, so she thought that she would definitely eat him the next time they met. But gradually, Murasaki realized that whether they were watching the sunset together or walking hand in hand along the riverside, every time they met made her feel incredibly happy. She had completely abandoned the idea of eating him. However, Shibata began to sense something was off, because aside from knowing her name, he realized he knew nothing else about her, and no matter when they met, Murasaki's hand was always cold. Murasaki would also ask him, "If I were a spirit, would you be afraid?" Those kinds of questions made Shibata uneasy, so he went to find Natsume, who could see spirits, and brought him to the park to confirm. As Murasaki slowly approached, Natsume assured him that she was just an ordinary high school girl. After confirming Murasaki was human, Shibata finally relaxed. He happily introduced Natsume to Murasaki. After that, the three of them walked and chatted, then they waved goodbye. Natsume could tell Shibata really liked that girl, but when Natsume returned home, Madara smelled the scent of a spirit lingering on him. Natsume didn't think much of it at first, but that night, he had a terrifying nightmare. He dreamed that Murasaki ate Shibata. The scene in the dream left Natsume deeply unsettled, so the next day, he returned to the park to check again, and unexpectedly, he saw Murasaki eating raw fish. Before Natsume could react, Murasaki grabbed him and dragged him up into a tree. Just as she was about to eat him, Madara appeared and interrupted her. Murasaki warned them that if they revealed her true identity, she would definitely eat them. Natsume ignored the threat. He quickly went to school, found Shibata, and told him that Murasaki was a spirit. Natsume urged him not to see her again, otherwise he would be eaten, but Shibata refused to believe him. He angrily shouted that Natsume was a liar. The word liar was something Natsume had heard his whole life. It hurt him deeply, but now wasn't the time to be sad. He had to save Shibata. The next day, Natsume returned to the park and found Murasaki. He told her that he had already told Shibata the truth, and asked Murasaki to stay away from him, but from Natsume's words, Murasaki realized that Shibata hadn't believed him, so she lunged toward Natsume. Seeing this, Madara decided to eliminate Murasaki, but Natsume stopped him. Murasaki did not expect Natsume to defend her. Then she dissolved into a breeze and vanished, following her trail. Natsume eventually found her true body, and he learned the real reason Murasaki was so weak. She could barely maintain her human form anymore. She did not have long to live, but she had never thought of eating Natsume, because he was Shibata's friend, and she didn't want Shibata to be sad. Murasaki told Natsume the story of how they met. To her, those days had truly been beautiful. It turned out that last night Shibata came to the park to see her, but at that time, she no longer had the strength to keep her human form, and only one arm was visible. Shibata was not afraid when he saw it. He even invited her to go for a walk with him, but Murasaki no longer had the strength to walk, and she didn't want Shibata to be sad, so she lied, and told him they would walk together in a few days. At this point, Murasaki was on the verge of disappearing. She could only ask Natsume to deliver a letter to Shibata, but the content of the letter was written in the language of spirits, so Shibata could not read it, but the depth of her feelings allowed Shibata to sense the longing and sorrow contained within it. Shibata begged Natsume to take him to her, but Murasaki's body was already becoming translucent. They walked together hand in hand, just like before, but as they walked, Murasaki's body slowly dissolved into the wind.